I think it's important to know that organizations such as Meta or Facebook, they also have domestic pressures. They come from somewhere, and the organizations where they are registered or they are established in those countries have an influence on the way they operate. So depending on how they operate, depending on how they are seen at home, that pressure will be upon them. So if actors in the US think that Meta is facilitating anti-democratic acts elsewhere, then Meta will come under pressure. So that pressure has to be released elsewhere. And if the people they are complaining about assumed to be Ugandan agents, or if it's a unit within the government of Uganda that is using Meta to disinform the country and the world about what is happening, then Meta has to act by removing those people. So it is pressure from somewhere that happens to affect another country. Because America looking at itself as the police of the world, and perhaps looking at itself as the most democratic country that tries to police other countries around the world, thinks that if there are some people who are misusing certain platforms to disinform, then they have to influence companies under its control, or countries, rather companies that are registered
in their
jurisdiction to act on their behalf. Yeah. Because you've seen this with when Ukraine attacked, rather when Russia attacked Ukraine, many American companies shut. They stopped operating in Moscow. Yeah, some stopped operating in Moscow. Some stopped operating temporarily to force the public that have been benefiting from such services to put pressure on their government to stop the war. So when these companies are operating elsewhere, they're not operating necessarily independent. They are also representing their interests elsewhere. So the citizens, as a result of Facebook intervening in Uganda, of course, when they remove the 200, they may not be accurate in removing the 200. If they estimate that they are 200, some people may suffer innocently, especially if they are not really accurate. But also, if the government of Uganda chooses to react out of anger that Facebook is stopping them from using their platform, then it's ordinary citizens who will suffer. Yeah, millions of Ugandans who will suffer. Millions who are using Facebook for education, who are using Facebook for their businesses, where several businesses collapsed because Facebook had closed and they were operating using Facebook. So the country suffers because of the actions of a few people linked to the government. The company policies are normally informed by state policies here and there, because you're talking about companies established in a very big democracy, which are promoting freedom of expression. But issues to do with freedom of expression, especially the issue of social responsibility, how responsible should the media be, how responsible should the platforms be, started way back in the 1930s, as to whether freedom of expression means anyone can say anything they want, or that a platform should have a responsibility to minimize damage. To minimize damage, and this was in line of promoting violence, but also minimizing promiscuity. So if you if your platform like Facebook, you're allowing everyone to speak, yeah, should we allow some people to coordinate their lies so that they lie as a company, yeah, their coordinated lies? I think if there is evidence, then that fits within the arguments that have been around since the 1930, that there is some responsibility that comes on any given platform. That every platform has some kind of social responsibility to protect society. So the in-house policies are coming from somewhere. They're not innocent. Inbuilt, basing on how the American society behaves, but also filling some gaps that have been there for so many years.